Okay, so, and action. Joey. I remember where I was when I came up with the idea for the film, which was I was on the overground. And I was like, oh, what would be a good sitcom idea? And it just was like, and I'm a bit obsessed with cults in general, like the idea of it. And I was listening to a podcast about one. I was like, it's such a great and kind of strange situation for people to find themselves in. And it also had that like family dynamic, which I think is quite important for a sitcom. So I was like, oh, that's perfect. You've kind of got that family dynamic, but in extraordinary circumstances.
The minute I walked on set, everything changed. Like the rooms are smaller, or the rooms are bigger, or they had different window sizes. We didn't have the right lighting, not really the right camera to do some of the stuff that we both originally wanted to do. But through the team, the production team that I was working with, they came up with some amazing ideas and suggestions of how to light something, and I really think it captures the mood of what's happening in each scene.
And then we're going to go through that about 4 or 5 times.
So this is the prayer room. Where obviously the prayers and the ceremonies and things take place. In the prayer room there are these big wall hanging banner kind of things that have the cult logo on them, without the text, just the actual image of the triangle and the comet, and that's their sacred space, their sort of special prayer room. I also designed the logo. Again, he had the idea, he wanted a triangle, he wanted a comet, and he wanted the acronym FATE, which stands for Friends at the End. And I came up with quite a few different ideas. And then we sat together and he picked the one that he liked the most, and that's the one that we developed into their logo for all of their merchandise and their banners. Going down, it would be going up, and I'd obviously detail it more. So it was that sort of style, but...
See, what I kind of agree with what you said before, because that's very 80s. I like the A.
Alright, I'll draw that one up in proper way then, and then I'll scan it. This is the painting scene where Comet paints Rachel, I believe.
No, first is going to be where Comet shows Rachel his paintings.
Comet is obviously a amateur artist. So we had Emily, our wonderful art director, who painted all of these scenes just from her own from reading the script.
So in the film, the character Comet, he paints. He's a self-taught sort of artist, and he paints obviously what he knows. He's grown up in the cult, so he's always painting pictures of the Armageddon. Everything's always on fire. There's one bit in the script where I think he saw a horse one time, so he paints a picture of a horse, and it's a horse that he's obviously drawn from memory. And then the very next painting, it's the same horse but on fire.
It is so rare that you get a script where you go, oh, I'm really enjoying reading this and I'm laughing out loud and I'm looking forward to how this will be filmed or seeing how it will be done. And then when you finally get on set and everything matches what you imagine, there's something really exciting about that.
So I actually wrote the script before I had anywhere in mind.
Yeah, so the house was incredible because we'd written this film with these characters who are just living in this kind of like run down huge old like mansion of a house, and it's got this really kind of like run down like former glory kind of tone to it, but it also had all of these like it was like this room of stuff and everything that we seemed to need in terms of props and equipment and everything else. This room just had. It was like the house wanted this film to be a success as much as we did.
Okay, so this house has been a fucking godsend, because anything we found in this house has been used in a scene. It's like proper Dogma 95 rules. And Luke sent me loads of that stuff, and he said, this is how I want it to look. And I thought he meant the rules as well, by only using lighting and props in the things. I thought, how are we going to do that? But most of the props have come from the house.
I mean, so the house would be the kind of place that an organisation could sort of take hold of. It's a very large house. People could quite easily live there as a little sort of collective. And it's kind of, in the script, it's kind of run down. They don't have very much money, and the house happens to also be sort of transitioning at the moment, so it's perfect for the film. And it's great to film here, actually.
Rachel, I'm here to take you home. I'm not going anywhere. Yes, you are. Get in the fucking car. Get in the car.
That's a prize for anyone, and that's also a wrap on Elizabeth for Cornwall. So let's wrap on Elizabeth, everyone!
Rachel is the outsider, so she comes into this group because she has basically no better option, and I think we sort of see things through her eyes a little bit because she is a bit bemused by everything that's going on. But then they rescue her.
Beck is a quite pent-up person who has some anger issues, but I think she just wants to love people and be close to them.
Say hello to my friends number 18.
It's good.
Yep.
There you go.
Do you like coffee?
It's alright. This isn't my usual method of drinking it though.
How's it feel, Ed?
This is pretty good. This is better than my...
Don't
Sorry.
move.
I got hairspray on my mouth.
Going to be here.
I'm not used to working in such luxurious conditions, really.
So sort of those first two lines, and then
Yeah,
unlock
and
it.
then you unlock
June's
it.
Comet is nearly ready, we need to
Yeah,
get
so
ready.
as you're doing that, say the lines.
June's Comet's nearly here, we need to get ready.
Would you do anything for your director?
I don't know. Sometimes we have to do stuff for the friendship, for the...
How was this?
Exciting! I was waiting a long time for this scene, so it was pretty exciting. I'm Poseidon, god of sea. Manaus is very laid back. He's a free spirit, doesn't have any boundaries, so kind of the code and Irma's rules give him something to live on, otherwise he would just flow with the wind. Leader and
what question is take deep breaths in it, like you really, this is you wanting to, you're a very ill man, so you need the oxygen. And action! Alright, Slake.
Okay, Luke, so it's the last day. How are you feeling?
It's a mix between relief and it's quite sad, really, because we've had such a good time and it's going to come to the end of it. I mean, there's still a lot more to do, but this has been a pretty amazing experience. We crescendoed, and now we're like the energy levels have dropped a little because we're also exhausted, and also I think nostalgic already for a few days which were previous, because it was all of us and we'd go around the fire and we'd kind of relax. It was lovely.
And last but not least, if you're going to talk to someone who's never heard of Cult, how would you pitch it to them? What makes Cult worth watching?
It's just clever and funny and just properly mad, but in a good way.
But it's a story that really cares about its characters and really, you know, it has a lot of heart.
I think it's something that anybody can actually identify with. We probably all either sort of know of or heard of someone who's got involved in some strange bunch of weirdos.
And maybe the outside world don't really understand their way, but this is a little insert into their daily life, their troubles, their friendship, and I think there's a character for everyone.
Because they are so human, they are so relatable. Then you start to believe that they really are in a cult, and okay, they are in this cult because of this or that reason. You can start to realize, okay, these are real people.
People who are all looking for a place in the world, and I think everyone can kind of connect to that. Everyone wants to find that, and these people just found the wrong place.
You feel sorry for them in the situation they're in, and there's a real heartbreak to it, that the fact that this is their world.
The setting, the time that it's set, the time period, I think is so interesting, and it's a really good diverse cast, lots of different ages, lots of different little moments and stories.
It's made with a lot of love and energy by people who believe in it, and I think only good things can spring from that.
It's very entertaining. It's really, it's a funny film. It's going to be worth your time.
It's a black comedy. It's quirky.
It's its own conspiracy theory, and a lot of people are into that sort of thing. And it's just got that edge to it where it's a mockumentary, which is funny. It's a comedy, but it's so dark. It's so dark, like it's really dark.
Oh, hail the comet, we love you in every way. Oh, hail the comet, your fire brings the end of days. We pray to you, we love your light.